Okay, this week on the podcast, we talk GSP, the return of the man himself. With him back, Brock back, you'd think we're in 2009. Quick, let's get in the DeLorean and talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, Brock Lesnar's back. GSP is back. It's, Mike, it feels like we're going back in a time machine. It feels like we should be going 88 miles per hour to get back into 2009. We've got everything just gone upside down, ladies and gentlemen. But look, Mike, it was announced on the Ariel Helwani show, which I'm going to put the little link up for you to listen to, that GSP said he's back. He had the fight camp, the mock fight camp, felt good, wants to come back. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm a bit up in the air at the moment. I've got mixed emotions still. But Mike, for you, let's talk about him coming back. Just not fight matchups, because Michael Bisping's name was thrown in the hat. What do you feel, Mike, for GSP coming back? Let's remind you, by the way, Mike, he is 35 now.
Yeah, it depends how he comes back and what fights he takes.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to see him do a title run at welterweight? Not really, because that welterweight division will survive without GSP. But if GSP comes back and they say, okay, we're going to do some crazy mix-up, like for instance, we're going to have him fight for the middleweight title against Michael Bisping. I look at that fight and I think to myself, okay, that's something totally new. He's putting down, he's adding to a legacy.
Yeah.
If he goes back and wins the welterweight title, it's big.
It is a big feat. Let's be honest, it's a big feat. It is. If he does, Mike, you're right. But if he does win the middleweight title, two-weight class champion.
Exactly. You're now in a rarity.
Yeah,
There's
he
just
is.
a small handful of fighters.
Yeah, I agree.
That have done this, and I can see the risk that he's taking on that one.
He's probably got the probability of him beating Bisping is probably higher, let's be honest, than the other fighters. I know, and the thing is, we've spoke off air about this as well, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the middleweight division itself and the guys around, everyone's coming off a loss. So I know Gustafsson got a title for the 205 against Daniel Cormier, but then again, you've got to think, if you're Michael Bisping, who do you want to fight? You want that fight against Dan Henderson, because that's a rematch. I know he's not in the top 10, but at the same time, it's a rematch to avenge a loss. Then again, you think GSP, okay, well, that's a good money seller. You can go to Canada with that one. UFC would be like, right, we are going up to Toronto again. We're doing a 55,000 again, because we know two things. GSP sells, and because he sells, number two, they make dollars. They make big bucks off him. So,
yeah, worldwide.
They won't go to the UK with that one. They definitely would not take that to the UK. I could certainly see that going to Canada. Bisping probably would like to go to the UK.
Think get that in Manchester
yeah. Well, I just don't know. I just don't know if you could sell it.
It's doable.
I don't know if you could sell it as well as if you take it to Canada, because GSP, he is a worldwide global star, but I just know with Canada, the way that card was last time with GSP and Jake Shields, that was in, the Jose Aldo and Mark Hominick fight, which was fucking awesome. That whole atmosphere, I don't know if, I'm sure you get it in the UK, I just think it would make sense to probably make it in Canada. But then again, GSP, I would like him to do fun fights. Why not fight Nick Diaz again? Why not have Carlos Condit again? Because look, GSP was decision fights. He was not. He didn't. A lot of his fights in the latter stages, let's say, since in fact he last fought in 2013, with the Johnny Hendricks fight, Mike. But prior to that, the last time he had a finish, I believe it was Matt Serra. When he finished Matt Serra, to get the belt back.
Which seems like a lifetime ago now.
And every time after that, it was a decision. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that he got a decision because he can't finish fights, but it's because obviously he was fighting just a murderer's row of guys.
He went on the
tough luck. Yeah, tough luck. Yeah.
Division.
But let's look at it from, if you think, right, okay, then let's look at fun fights. Okay, all of them decisions. Why not have a rematch then? Because they didn't go in there and get starched. They just got lost. So maybe they might, look, Carlos Condit dropped GSP. Could Carlos Condit do it again? Could Carlos maybe finish GSP? Because he's done it once before where he's dropped him. Would he have more common sense to finish it next time? Who knows? I question him being 35. You know, I know he's been training still. I know he's been working hard. I just think your body takes a toll. What weight class?
I was going to add that even your body injures and recovers.
Yeah,
so
it does.
So it injures easier and recovers slower. So you're not able to put in that same. Your 100% that you're putting in training isn't to the same level that the 100% you can put in when you're in your.
But Mike,
20s.
let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2016. There was no way in 2013 when GSP said he's off to go and train with the aliens that you and I could have said Brock Lesnar, GSP will be back in the UFC in 2016. Watch, it's going to happen. How crazy has this week been with, in fact, these past couple of weeks been with information and just stuff that's been going on. It didn't seem like a crazy time, but it absolutely has been on what's been going on with MMA. I think it's been absolutely nuts. But then again, it's exciting times because you think, how are they going to be? Because if you look at Fedor, let's go to EFN, the Fight Night card that happened in Russia when Fedor took on Maldonado. You know, Fedor's first fight back was a gimme fight against a guy who was 2-0. Let's be honest, it was embarrassing. But anyway, he had the fight. It was a welcoming back fight. Then he fought Fabio Maldonado, who is a legitimate boxer. He is a guy who's fought heavyweight against Stipe Miocic, but then again he's fought generally light heavyweight. But he's a guy who can fight and he can take a punch. So it was an ideal test, but it was a test that he got pushed to a limit that he really 10 years ago probably would have got through that a lot easier. But now you just see that
he had to dig in basically.
Dig in. Yeah. He had to get the referee to like turn a blind eye and let him survive that first round because man,
I know.
It was shocking. But if you look at that perspective, you think, right, well, I saw that happen to Fedor. I just think about myself, I don't want to see that happen to Georges St. Pierre. I don't even want to see it happen to Brock. I just don't, like, even BJ Penn, I don't want to see these guys that have got that itch and want to scratch it so bad that they come back and then that happens. I think, like, Anderson Silva is one where he just turned it up a notch. He would have finished Michael Bisping. I think that he could have done it, you know, and I think a lot of other people believe he probably could have done it as well. It's one of them ones where Anderson Silva's just, he's playing around. It's almost like he's happy to take the money and he doesn't care if he wins or loses. Like, I wish Anderson Silva would just sort itself out. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be the world king, the dominator of the world again, but to be fair, he could still, there's a lot of fights he could easily win, still. It's tough and it's hard to watch. I just think, like, Chuck Liddell literally got dragged away, and I think a lot of fighters need to start seeing these other fighters and learn from them. And
well, imagine, let's say we signed Fedor to the UFC.
Yeah.
Now, you imagine, okay, right, so you got Brock fighting Mark Hunt.
Yes.
How would you feel if it was Fedor fighting Mark Hunt?
I'll put it a different way. If Fedor, I don't want to see Fedor fight in the UFC. Okay, but secondly, if he fights anyone in the top 10, I don't think he's going to have a chance. Outside the top 10, there is a possibility out there that he could pull something out. But even if he does sign, I don't want him to. I'll still watch it.
No, I
will. I'll tune in. I'll be straight on there. I'll be straight in to watch Fedor, mate. I don't care if he's 40. I don't care if he's 50. There's something. He's just got that enigma about him. You want it.
Exactly. But he also needs to be fighting somebody. If he's going to fight, he needs to be fighting somebody where you don't really have to research them. You know who they are. They're legit and what have you. If he can't fight, if he can't compete against somebody who's legit, then I don't want to see him. And I also don't want to see him get,
well, it's
not off his life.
Well, that's the thing. I think what you got to remember is if you take him, if he's not in the UFC, there is a small circle of heavyweights out there who aren't signed to maybe bigger promotions, whether it be UFC, Bellator, even Titan FC, even in the UK you've got BAMA, there's an EFC down in South Africa, there's a handful of promotions around the world, even ONE FC, they've got their own heavyweight division, they've got their own heavyweight sign. So when you got to think about that, Mike, outside of there, how many heavyweights are there that are free agents for Fedor to fight? So then I can't sit there and have a go at him from certain matchups that he might potentially have in the future, because he is limited. So then you think to yourself, well, if he does sign to UFC, he probably needs to, because where is he going to get the heavyweight bout? Where are the guys going to be? Or Bellator. You can sign to Bellator, but I just mean in general, for him to have a fight, he needs to sign with someone to get legitimate names, because there's only so many free agent heavyweights out there for him to get matched up with.
Yeah, I think the ideal world is, I would like to retire personally.
Good luck with that. And there's something that he's got that itch. He's scratching it and he's scratching it. And the thing is, I think, like he said that the deal with the UFC is close. I think the thing is, the UFC will know that Fedor's going to bring money. It doesn't matter what the fight is like.
You might get 2 shows out of him.
It doesn't matter how many shows they get. One show, if they get money out of him, they don't care. They'll take the money and they'll
matter
go.
Where you put him.
They just no. He'll be on the pay-per-view. He'll be on the main card and he'll be pay-per-view. Simple as that. It'll probably be co-main event, if I'm honest. He'll be co-main event.
Easily,
he wouldn't be main event.
On any card, on any promotion, anywhere in the world.
No, Mike. But I mean, no. With the UFC, he would be a co-main event on a main card. He wouldn't be a main event because it'll be a title fight.
But you'd definitely have him in the last 3 fights.
No, he'll be co-main event because when they do the fight posters, 9 times out of 10 they have the main event and co-main event on the fight posters. Sometimes.
What I was doing was I was thinking about like the UFC 200 card where Brock comes on and he's
co-main event. Co-main event. Brock's co-main event.
I thought he was third.
No, Brock's co-main event.
Right.
It's star power. It's star power that brings that in. But then again, Fedor's not going on that card, Mike. Fedor will go on a card afterwards. He's not even signed to UFC, so that's why I'm saying he'll come in event. Let's have a look at also, like we said, we're going about GSP. GSP again. He will sell tickets. He will sell pay-per-views. He gets interest. People are intrigued about George St. Pierre. How many fights is he going to do? He might do 1 fight and say, right, that's it. What annoys me or worries me about George St. Pierre is, after his fighting, he talked about the headaches that he used to get and the kind of like blackouts and stuff. And I think, dude, he took the most significant strikes when he was fighting for the UFC in his title fights to the head. And I think, dude, you don't need it. But then again, he's got that itch, and I'll talk about it over and over again. Everyone's got it. Everyone's got that fucking itch, and they got to scratch it. Let's look at Brock Lesnar. He's the same. He felt that he didn't reach his full potential. He wants to fight. He's got that one-off fight. See how it feels. When he wakes up after the Mark Hunt fight, which will be probably next year, he might think, I'm going to stay away from it. But it's going to happen, Mike. Let's go on though, Mike. We talked about the Fedor fight. The Fedor fight. Sorry, yeah. Let's just touch on that, Mike. He fought the weekend against Maldonado. Should have been stopped in the first. It didn't go to a draw, which it should have, because it was.
Yeah, rightly so.
It was a 10-8. The 10-8 round at the least. At the least, it was a 10-8 round. The first round to Maldonado. Fabio had Fedor in Jupiter. Now the second and third round, I would, give it to Fedor. I'd give it to Fedor because of not damage, but I'd give it from the output and the amount of strikes he landed compared to Maldonado. So let's do that. Okay, so you 10-8, 10-9, 10-9. Well, you got yourself a draw. It didn't go that way. And now there is a lot of problems with this because I'm actually going to get our man back on, Karim Zindan, who was on before in the past, spoke about a lot of stuff in Russia, and it was just fucking awesome. Interview guest. Honestly, you got to check it out. I'll actually put the little link up there anyway for you to all check that on. But let's look at. He's going to talk about how Fedor, Mike. I don't know if you know about this. Fedor has a kind of regulatory kind of commission where the referee was under his company, so to speak, and the judges as well were all under Fedor's kind of payroll. Let's put it that way. I want to speak more with Zindan about this, or Zlatan Ibrahimovic, as I like to call him. But yeah, when it gets on, I'm going to ask him a lot more questions about it. We're going to have a great conversation. He is so knowledgeable on the subject, going there as well and commentating on bouts and everything else anyway, and being a fantastic journalist that he is, he's going to be awesome to really pick his brain out, and I can't wait to talk to him in depth about this. So we're definitely, I've already messaged him, he's agreed to come on, and we're going to get him on to have a talk about that. I might even try and get some other guests on to give their point of view of that bout, because it's a good one to look at and it's a good thing to talk about retrospectively. Mike, let's go on then to... Should we talk about Ottawa? UFC Ottawa, Mike?
Well, you might as well.
UFC Ottawa, Canada had a great UFC card on, and they also announced that they're going back there. They got Vancouver coming up in August 23rd, I think it was, August 23rd maybe, and they're also going to go to another place in Canada, so at the end of the year. So Canada is getting 2 more cards. I hope that they have some great cards like they had this time, you know, good names, good main events, good bouts, and look, and the boy James Lynch was there doing some fantastic work. Amount of interviews he had and stuff like that. The content he put on was awesome. I'm so happy for him and the work he's doing there with his podcast and Sportsnet anyway. So you want to check him out on YouTube. I suggest you do that. So let's talk about some fights then. Let's go to first I wanted to give a mention to Jotko. Okay, Jotko went across to Canada, fought Tandem McCory. Look, this fight was it was very questionable for me, because I was like, right, okay, after watching the grappling it was awesome last time from McCory when he got Josh Salmon, but then again Jotko had the great kind of pace and striking and movement that he got at Tiger Muay Thai when he fought Scott Askren. I was super curious about how that would go down. Tandem McCory tried to close that space down a bit, just to maybe, I think he was trying to really open up with a couple of strikes to close it for the grappling to get him down. But oh my word, Jotko KO with that overhand, just, well, straight overhand. It was an overhand because Tandem's 6'4", so you can't really throw it straight, you're more throwing an overhand to land it. Oh, stiffened Tandem McCory. Oh my word, that man went down and he was out. It was an incredible finish. And it was only about a minute into the fight off the top of your head, Mike. It wasn't that far in.
59 seconds.
There you go, 59. Well, there you go. Okay. So, super great win. He's really put himself on the map now as in the middleweight division. And that really opens up some good balance for him. I think he's going to get probably someone around the top 15 mark now. For Poland, it's great. You've got a male fighter putting himself out there, especially with Jan Blachowicz, who's just been lacking a little bit in the UFC, I found, Mike. After his Latifi win, which I thought, okay, if you beat Latifi, you got to be proper legit. And for some reason, there's just things aren't clicking with him in the past couple of fights. He's now fighting I'll rephrase this. He's penciled in to fight Alexander Gustafsson, which is a fucking nightmare of a fight. But Gus wants to step in for the injured Anthony Johnson, which is the worst news of the week, which Anthony Johnson out of his fight with Glover Teixeira. So Gus wants to step in and fight. Gus will step in and fight Glover. I like that matchup, Mike. Gus and Glover excites me.
Yeah, I want it to happen, but for some reason I don't think that's going to get made.
I don't see why not. I don't see why it can't get made. If Gus wants to step in for the short notice, why not? It keeps the fight card alive.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You're not really suffering. You're not lessening that bout. You can keep the fight where it was on the card. I think if Gus gets in, fair enough. Jan Blachowicz, for him, I think he dodges a bit of a bullet really fighting Gus. I think he'll get matched up with someone else, and that will save his skin a little bit. I don't know who else. I don't know if they'll bring someone in, but they'll definitely get someone else for him. Let's, like you said, okay, got distracted there, going off on a little tangent, but it's fine.
Slight tangent there.
It's fine, though. It's fine. And let's go to Joe Soto's win against Chris Beal, which I kind of thought Soto would win, because there's something about Chris Beal that he had a great first round, just literally just tired out. He couldn't keep his own tempo up for the further 2 rounds. But let's go on to the women's flyweight fight, the first flyweight fight in the women's division in the UFC. We spoke about JoJo against Valerie.
It did not disappoint.
It didn't, no. If you're looking from a technical standpoint, I think it was just great fun. Beautiful kind of Muay Thai exhibition between the two girls. One thing that Valerie was always going to land, because Joe just never bothered to lift her hand up was that right hand, and Valerie landed it time and time again, even when she was after she got rocked in the first, which she showed tremendous conditioning and mental strength just to switch on, hold JoJo down. So if you didn't see it, ladies and gentlemen, Joanne Calderwood did a spinning back fist around the 3-minute mark off the top of my head, dropped Valerie Letourneau. Now Valerie was down. If JoJo had not have swarmed in and just said, "Get up,"
stand up,
you would not. You
she
would
might
not.
have finished in the first.
I don't think Valerie would have got up.
Yeah.
She looked. She was out on the ground and she got punched back awake. Now it sounds silly, folks, but it happens very often. Fighters get flash knockout. They go down. They're just not sure what's happening. But when they start getting punched,
sometimes the canvas wakes them up when they bang the head off it. You know.
Yeah, it happens.
We've seen that before. But you know what this fight felt like? It felt almost like it was Joanne Calderwood's UFC debut. It felt like this is the Joanne Calderwood that I've seen fighting in Victor and what have you.
Finally, she felt open, relaxed. She said, like, train at TriStar. Everything just came together for her there. The positive people, the positive energy, everything surrounded her. Mentally, she was in the right place. And it made a difference. And also, it was that not cutting weight. It made a difference for her. The earlier weigh-ins as well makes a huge difference. I think for her, it was just one of them times where she felt a bit more relaxed. Now, to be fair, though, if that spinning back fist hadn't landed, I don't know how well that fight would have went for her, because that right hand kept landing. And I don't know how many more you can take before it starts to really take an effect in the fight.
Having said that, there was something different about Joanne in this fight. You know, she was much more on a mission. Her whole outlook, how she looked, you know, like... Well,
like her output in general, she was throwing a lot more strikes. She was more caution to the wind. She was putting a lot more combinations together. She was throwing just freely. You know, she was stepping in with the elbows and everything.
Yeah,
she just
thing for firing.
She was taking one to land one. She just didn't care. She wasn't being cautious with getting the points on the board by landing a strike and getting away. She was going at it. I think the problem is, though, with Valerie, you can't. She's the kind of girl you can't fight, land one and avoid. She is a very good technical fighter and she will land. So it's one of them ones, I think, with Valerie, you have to step in and just accept it. She's going to hit me. I've got to get there a bit more.
Yeah, she's going to hit you. If you stand back, she's going to hit you. So you might as well go forward and dish out something at least, you know.
There was a bit of a mishap or misunderstandings during the bout anyway, where basically Jo Calderwood, who she does it all the time, she does a lovely front head kick where it's almost like a teep almost, but she basically does it to the face. In doing so, when her foot comes back down, it dragged Letourneau's top down, which basically had her boobies almost pop out. Well, basically pop out the bra. Luckily enough, the top just covered the certain areas, the nipples, which would have been exposed on TV. But look, it happened. I think Valerie didn't really make it clear enough. It seems maybe in a fight what had happened. But at first you saw it. She did it once. You could tell maybe she could see her sorting the bra out. But then she did get cracked in with the teep to the solar plexus. She was injured. But then later on it happened again, and everyone was a bit confused about what was happening. Was she hurt? Was she fixing it? Then finally, when she turned around to run away or walk away, the referee should have stopped that fight before Joanne...
exactly. You know, you don't turn your back on your opponent at the end of the day. You know, not in any combat.
Well, it's not that you turn your back. It's you turn your back like Gustafsson does it because he runs away to circle away. But
yeah. That wasn't the same kind of thing. That was...
the referee should have stopped the fight before Joanne Calderwood got that knee in at the back of the fight and then started to throw punches and land that spinning back fist. There was no need for it to go that far. The referee should have said, look, she was already getting pretty much lit up. The fight was pretty much going to be over. Why let her take any more additional shots? Step in. It was a poor decision from the referee. Valerie took a couple more shots she didn't need to, essentially, but it happened. She wasn't out anyway. She was just wrecked. She just lay down. For JoJo, she gets a bonus, because she's a very smart woman, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if she hadn't have done what she'd done online, she would not have got this bonus. She went online with a cap and said, I'm broke, put a statement out saying that she He's gutted that she can't be going back to TriStar. She has to go back to Scotland to earn some money before she can go back there to train and, you know, put this little monologue together. And it was a very smart, coy move from her because it got attention from the media, who put it out there that she said she was broke, and then all of a sudden the UFC thinks, fuck, we cannot have that, basically, is what they're saying. We can't have that press. Last thing we need, we do already have Donald Cerrone talking about how much he's not getting paid. Well, Joanne Calderwood's saying that she's on a hell of a lot less, so they can't have fighters in the top level saying they're broke. So Dana White's saying he'll sort her out. What he'll probably do, if I'm honest, he'll probably pay for her to go over and do her fight camp. They'll probably
like sponsor her training.
They'll probably pay for all that instead of doing like giving you a bonus.
Apparently they re-signed a new contract or they're re-signing a new contract. I don't know where exactly that's at the moment, but yeah, it sounds like that she'll probably go to TriStar full time and. At least do a fight camp.
Well, she'll do a fight camp. She'll come back to Scotland. She's got family. It's her home. She's already back. I think she's already back in Scotland. I know Stevie Ray's back. So they come back for an extended period of time. Then you go back away because like Stevie Ray was meant to fight, but he got injured recently, so his fight was off. So it's a shame, but it happens.
But he didn't get injured. He had visa issues.
I thought his opponent got injured. No.
No, Stevie Ray's opponent.
Stevie got pulled. Right. Oh, Stevie got pulled out because of his visas.
Stevie Ray had visa issues.
Wow.
That's what it was. He said he's ready to go. He's.
See, I'd stick him on the Hamburg. I'd stick him on the Hamburg card.
Yeah. Well, it was a shame because it looked like he was going across the pond and.
Well, he was in TriStar, Mike. He was in TriStar. He also did the fight at Q&A at the weekend as well for UFC Ottawa.
I know. He was good. But what I meant was he would have been something on his bucket list to go and fight in Vegas and fight at
He'll do it anyway. He'll do it anyway, folks.
Yeah,
he'll do it anyway. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen in time. Let's look at another fight on the card. Steve Bosse and Sean O'Connell.
Yeah. This took away Joanna's chance of getting an immediate bonus.
That fight was your classic example of old school toy figures of Rock and Sock'em.
Yeah,
those guys just had no defense. Their defense was their faces.
I don't think they could knock out their opponent before they got knocked out.
Like the pair of them beat the living crap out of each other, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to say it. Like they just punched each other into. Like they lost 20 years off each other's lives. It was amazing to watch, though. You were sitting there on the edge of your seat, just like your eyes. You did not want to blink because it was just absolutely insane. The fact, do you know what I was super impressed with? Not only Bosse's condition, but the fact the pair of them just kept it up for the whole fight. The fact they just kept swinging, they just kept landing,
and disciplined fight as well.
They didn't want to try and get the takedowns all the time, either to try and get rest breaks or anything. They just literally bit their gum shields down and they just duked it out. And what I really was gutted about, I was heartbroken almost, was the fact that they gave someone a win. Like, if you're a judge, do you not just sit there and say, I'm not giving a winner there? Like, how on earth can I give anyone a win there? Because Bosse took 2 and 3, but Bosse lost 1. Do you know?
Yeah, and he lost it big as well, like he got dropped.
So, do you do is it a classic example there of Fedor and Maldonado, where you do a 10-8 and then 2-10, 10-9s? But I think either way, I think it should have been a draw because that fight deserved to be a draw. No one deserved to lose. No one deserved to win. They both won in a kind of getting that kind of appreciation and also that love from everyone. I thought it was a fucking epic. I clap my hands to them guys. Go on, Mike.
And also, I want to add, like, there's certain guys I don't care if they win or lose. I'm just glad to see them because you have to have a.
He missed them, Mike.
In a great fight, you have to have a good loser. You know, it's not all about somebody that's big at winning. You have to have somebody who is gutsy, who does have that stamina and that good chin and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And with Sean O'Connell, okay, am I ever going to see him in a title fight? Possibly not. But do I care? No, I don't. You
won't see him in a title fight. No. You'll never see Sean O'Connell in a title fight.
These guys that lose as well as they win.
Yeah.
I think they are so valuable for the UFC.
Yeah,
and
huge,
They should
huge.
never get cut. You know what I mean? It's
Ooh, well, don't know about never get cut,
it-
Mike. Want to reel that in there, sunshine. Reel that in.
no. What I'm trying to say is that there's guys that go out and they win. Like they might be 10-1 or 9-2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But do I want to watch them? Not particularly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it don't get me on the edge of the seat.
But
like,
Mike, it's
Sean O'Connell,
yes.
I wouldn't care if he's won as many as he's lost. I would watch him. Like if he turned.
Okay, Mike.
If he was on the card that I was going to, I'd be over the moon.
Mike, if he wins, okay, great. But if he loses 4 in a row like that, why do you keep him on for a 5th?
But
If he keeps
it
losing,
depends
if
how-
he keeps
how somebody
losing,
loses.
how do you keep someone on the ultimate?
Like,
Listen,
so,
no, Mike, I'm
what
talking,
trying
mate.
to say
Mike,
is
listen.
The UFC is a business, and
Yes.
they are an entertainment business.
But they're not
Because
stupid.
let's be honest, they're more an entertainment business than they are a sport sometimes.
Yeah, but Mike, they're not gonna. If he lost 4 in a row, he's not like Frank Mir or BJ Penn. He's not one of them guys who could probably get away with it. He is not a guy who could go 4. He could not have 4 of those fights, lose all 4, and then the 5th time, fifth time's charm. Don't worry about it. I'll get this one. The UFC will go, look, this is the ultimate fighting championship where the best of the best is meant to be. If you're losing 4 in a row, you're clearly not the best of the best. Yeah, you're hanging around and you're banging, but you need to go off somewhere and you need to go and win somewhere else. Because I'm telling you right now, Mike, they would not keep him as much as you think they would. They won't keep him.
I mean, I know where you're coming from, and I know what things right, but it's all about.
They wouldn't. It's not like.
Are you providing fights that I want to see, or are you just like there should be a fine line between seeing the best of the best and seeing the fights where you go like, wow.
Yeah.
And
But if you lost, I'm just saying hypothetically, if you lost 4 in a row and he does 4 fights like that, he ain't sticking around, Mike. It's not going to happen.
no.
I don't know, Mike. Let's go to the next fight though, Mike.
Happen.
Mike will be here forever with this little jab because I know you'll keep coming back with, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Let's go
Let's
to the next.
move on to good old Donald. Who shocked the shit out of me.
Donald Cerrone, yeah. Mike, I'm with you as well. I was absolutely blown away by Donald Cerrone. The fact that he came off the mark, off the blocks straight away, and he just looked like he was hitting hard. He looked fluid. He just looked happy. He looked really scary at 170. He looked good.
The best Donald Cerrone that I've seen in a long time.
And Patrick Cote did not look the same fighter I'd seen in the past few fights. It just was Donald's day to shine like a motherfucker. And I tell you what, beautiful, beautiful.
I wonder if is it a case of Donald is a better welterweight than he could be a lightweight?
No.
I
don't know about that. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think
we need to see more of him. We need to see him again. But he did to Patrick Cote that no one has ever done at any weight division.
No. Well, Tito Ortiz dropped him, I think, off the top of my head, at 205.
Tito, right, so he lost that fight on an injury, a leg injury, and he was the first person, I believe, to take Anderson Silva to the...
Third round.
To the championship rounds.
Third round, wasn't it? Third round in the injury?
Yeah, it was at the end of the third round. So he basically took him to, I think it was the first, when Anderson Silva became champion, I think that Patrick Cote was the first person to go
to third round.
Yeah,
to the third round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, Mike, let's just put this again. How long ago was that when he fought Anderson Silva?
Yeah, I know.
How many fights? Mike.
Welterweight.
Yeah, but how many fights has Patrick Cote had since then? There is such a thing as wear and tear and etc. like that. Now, I'm not putting anything against Donald Cerrone, but at the same time, look, Patrick Cote is a legit fighter. He just got technically outclassed on the feet, Donald Cerrone. But the thing is, Donald Cerrone fighting other welterweights. If he fought Gunnar Nelson, what would he do there?
Well, what I'm saying is like anybody in that top 15 of the welterweight division is a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't, because Donald said himself.
Don't get me wrong. This Patrick Cote fight, on paper, I thought Patrick Cote was going to be too much for Donald Cerrone.
I did, because Patrick was being fantastic of late. I thought because of the pace that Donald usually starts at, it would have Patrick O'Day would have took advantage straight away, and it just would have built up and built up. But yeah, look, Donald Cerrone looked great. I don't like the thing is though, we can't look at welterweight fights for Donald Cerrone because, like he said, he doesn't care if it's 155 or 170. Whichever fight gets him to the next one quickest is what he will take. So
yeah,
look,
which I love about him, the fact that he can now do that. But I tell you what, if you're in that welterweight division and you've been plugging away trying to get to that top 10, going through that murderer's row, then all of a sudden you see Donald Cerrone, you think, Christ, that's all we need is another one.
Yeah, you say murder's row, but look, Damian Maia gets him down to the ground, and he will get him down.
Damian Maia should be in a title fight.
Look, well, what would he do? What would Donald Cerrone do with someone like Tyron Woodley, who might just launch on and jump on him? Look, there's a
on that one,
Carlos Condit as well. There's a lot of Mike's.
They're the questions I want to see answered.
I do, but I just feel like I just don't feel.
But he looks good, and he does look stronger. He is carrying that extra muscle now. You can see him.
Well, he came in, Mike. He was only 176, I think he said, 176 pounds when he went into the fight.
Yeah. He says he's not a huge welterweight, but
no, he's not.
And he just. I don't know, it was masterclass, really impressive.
Let's go to the main event, which was a fight with Rory McDonald and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. A lot of external factors going into the fight before we even started it. Mike, what's your thoughts on that fight in particular? How did you see it? What did you enjoy about it? What did you not enjoy about it? Just in general, really.
I actually loved it. I was super excited going in because I knew that I had two guys that would happily see either of them in a world title fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what I was going to get. I didn't know if one was going to go in and blast the other one. I didn't know if it was going to be one of those wars for 5 rounds, or whether it was going to be what we saw, which was like a chess match of two highly talented guys, who can do anything. And I love that chess match. He's just trying to gain that inch here and there, and it was fantastic.
It was good to watch because Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, when he puts a high output, but he's very accurate with his strikes because he picks the shots that he throws. So, for example, with the Rory McDonald, what he had with Rory McDonald was Rory was not charging in to land strikes. So straight away, one of the counter strikes that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has, which is with his hands, is that he has great little combinations for stepping away on an angle with his right hand. He steps away, cracks with the right. He's got very good counter angle defense. But the thing with Rory was he wasn't darting in, so it really limited on him with those strikes. What he did do was try to time Rory, which is a fucking nightmare to do. So when you watch the fight, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see there wasn't a lot of strikes landed because the pair of them, their timings, it's so hard to get their timings on each other. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is an absolute expert with managing that range with the legs rather than using the fists. His leg is his jab. That's why he kept landing a side kick to the body. He kept landing those kicks to the leg. He can land them all day long because his management of that distance is huge. He keeps them on the outside the whole time. And whenever it does come in close, you see that footwork to get away from Rory. Rory did clip Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and obviously, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson landed some shots back. I like the fact that you saw Rory shooting down for the legs, for the knee bars and heel hooks. Do you know what he was doing was, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why he was doing that is with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, with his karate style, point scoring, side stands, bounce on his toes, he kind of bounces back in and out. Rory was trying to just time it, so when he bounced in, his weight would be on his legs, so he'd be kind of heavy for that split second. It's all about timing. So when he shot in, the first time he did, he got quite close to getting a good grip of it. He got in, the leg was heavy, and he can get on top of it to get the leg to leg lock him, but he just couldn't obviously get it. Wonderboy had a very good defense, turn and drag your leg out, basically turn and run, and that is the defense to do. You turn and get your ass and run. I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that fight. Rory's nose was a problem for him after he got, I think it was an exchange in the 4th round or something like that, or the 5th round. 4th round, I think he said.
Yeah, I think he said it was the
Yeah, where his nose went. He's going to have surgery on it. Now it's free agency for Rory. He went to a decision loss with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So he's a guy who's on the cusp of being one of the better welterweights. But the problem is that's the welterweight division. Like, even if Stephen Wonderboy Thompson went off and won the heavy welterweight division, you can't see someone sitting there holding that title for 4 or 5 years. There's no one in that welterweight top 10 who is that standout. It's so
it's so
mixed.
tight, you know.
It's so anyone can beat anyone. It's an absolute nightmare. There's no one winner.
And you can actually look quite far back down the line.
Yeah, because if you think about Damian Maia, they say Damian Maia title shot. The thing you got to remember is, if say for example Damian Maia had a title shot against Robbie Lawler, Robbie Lawler has got an exceptionally good sprawl. His hips are absolutely phenomenal. So if Damian Maia shot him for that takedown, he would smash Damian Maia down. He could get Damian Maia face down, land some shots, finish that fight off, and that could be a night over, because there is so much in that fight that people don't realise. They think, oh, you know, Robbie will just knock him out. No, Robbie's defence on takedowns is exceptional. If you watch the Johnny Hendricks fight, I think it is, Johnny Hendricks fight, you watch it there, you'll see the defence, you'll see how good his hips are, and even in the latter rounds, you see his hips, the power, the reaction time, absolutely phenomenal. So there's a lot of guys out there who could beat each other, but then again, if you had Damian Maia against someone else in the welterweight division, he can just maul them all day long. It's so beautiful. That's what I love about this weight class. That's what I love about the kind of variety of each fighter. But like that's that weight class. Let's talk, Mike, then about the UFC. Finally, it looks like the sale has been completed. This sale has been done. The sale of the Fertitas, and Dana White is staying on. Apparently, it looks like the idea is Dana White stays on. He has a different shareholding in the company, but the Fertitas moved on. Lorenzo's already taken up another position with a different company, the Red Rock. He is the director. What was it again? He's like a director or advisor on there. He's taken the employment. It's $500,000 5-year deal, 5-year contract he signed. So he's already moved on. And even though the UFC have come out and denied the rumour, it's pretty much it looks like it's been done. The agreement's been done. The sale's been done, and it's going to be announced at UFC 200. Mike, just think that's that era. That's another era gone.
I wonder how that would change. You know. Yeah. So the UFC has sold. What changes? That's what I want to know. You know, does it start going down a different path? Does it follow a different ethic? You know.
And what do you mean by that, Mike? Because what do you mean by that? You need to elaborate a bit more on that, Mike. Because that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I would say the biggest change since Scott Coker has been sort of like, you know, running the Bellator thing is it's got a bit WWF sort of ish.
WWE, but carry on.
WWE, whatever. Obviously, I'm a big fan of wrestling.
Carry on, Mike.
So that was, I would say that is the most obvious change. Okay. What changes for the UFC? You know, does somebody come in that, you know, like, do the people then that are running it, do they go down a different route? You know, does the quality of signings change? You know, if it's a country that, you know, do they tend to? I believe it's a Chinese company, is it? That's in the league.
There's two companies that have booked bids in. I'm not sure who it is. I'm not 100% sure, but looks like what they're going to do is Dana White's going to hold his position. Gary Cook steps up as well for a position. I think, Mike, what you're thinking is that the people who are going to come in are going to start running it. The structure, Mike, the people and the names and the foundation's already in place. The staff are already there. They're not going to come in there, take everyone out, and because that would be why would you do something?
It's all going to go this way.
They're taking it over, Mike, for money. They're taking over the business for the money side of things.
Basically, it's the stuff we don't see.
They'll do stuff like, for example, the UFC were building that athletics centre in Vegas, whatever it was. They'll be doing kind of projects in that sense of things behind the scenes, not in the cage. They'll obviously do all other bits, but I think they're not going to be coming in and trying to change something. Why would they change a winning formula? And that's exactly what the UFC was.
Do you know what? I've seen it happen before.
You have, Mike, but from a business perspective, the UFC didn't get to a 4.2 billion valuation sale because the formula was wrong. The formula was right. If you're a businessman,
I know, but
they
how
will
many
keep
times
it.
have we seen something fall before, and then the change, you see the change start, and I think we have to sort of just wait and see what happens.
We do. I think that if you're a businessman, it'd be crazy to go in and try and change something that's winning. It's a winning formula. It'd be, Mike, honestly, I understand you. I can see where you're coming from in a sense, but it's not like I doubt that if they've got 4.2 billion to spend, I doubt they're stupid.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's happened before where a company gets bought out and within, like, sometimes it seems like within a short time of it being bought out, it kind of disappears and you think to yourself, well, how's that so? It happens in Formula One all the time. A big Formula One team gets bought out and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore.
That's different kettle of fish, Mike, because that's all down to financial side of things, Mike. That is all down to financial on Formula One, and I know that because I follow Formula One as well, Mike. It's all money there.
All I'm saying is I don't want to see too much change. If there's any change, I want it to be positive change. Like, do they inject more money into it? Are they less about the profit and more about the fighter pay or something like that? Does that change or something? That's, I don't know if I'm dreaming now, but that's what I'd like to see.
I'm looking to get on some. I'm looking to hopefully get on some people who release the information about the sales and get their perspective on this and the potential stuff. They can, we can have a great debate. We can have a great discussion about what's going on there. So I'm looking to get those guys on next week sometime to just talk a bit more in depth. Because obviously this weekend, there's only one card on this weekend really to talk about, which is Bellator. Rampage Jackson fight on the card, so that's enough to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Also, you've got to think about like next weekend after. There's not another UFC. Again, it's a quiet weekend because UFC are building up to International Fight Week and obviously UFC 200. They got the 3 cards in a row: the Thursday, Friday, Saturday deal, which they did at Christmas time, December time. So they're doing it again. It worked last time. It worked this time, especially because it's Fight Week. Vegas is just rammed with UFC fans spending their money.
It's surprisingly tough, but it's so entertaining.
Yeah. So look, it's something they're gonna do. So that's why I want to get some guests on next week to have some good long discussions about MMA and just I want to get some other people on just to give some different perspectives. It's gonna be a good crack, and I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, anything else, Mike, on the top of your head that you want to talk about? Anything else in the world of MMA that you've seen that we haven't mentioned really, and if it's going to be worth talking about?
I just need to make sure that I don't go accepting any crazy shifts that interfere with that fight week. I need to, energise myself ready for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 3 days, folks. I did it last time. I watched every card, and I won't lie. When I got to the final card, it was a struggle.
I was fortunate enough to be there last time, all 3 cards. And, I forget how many fights it was in total. I think it was 40 fights or something? And, it was tiring, but it was crazy and it was brilliant. And, if I never do it again, then that's okay.
Yeah.
But,
and and the thing is, folks, this event, this weekend, that weekend, so that fight, it's even bigger. Like the cards, the fights are bigger. There's more. There's title fights everywhere. It seems. You've got Rafael dos Anjos. You've got Joanna Jacek against Claudia Gadelha, which isn't even on the UFC 200 card. On the UFC 200 card, you've got your John Jones, Daniel Cormier fight. You've got your Misha Tate and Amanda Nunes. Can you spit that one out there? Could I?
But I tell you what. Here's a thing I'll throw at you.
Go on.
If I said to you 6 months ago, but it won't include Ronda Rousey or Conor McGregor.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, you turn around and say, of course that happened in there. And
whoa, Mike. They did want him in there. Ronda said...
I'm not saying the reasons why, but to be honest with you, it's kind of good because removing the Ronda Rousey and removing the Conor McGregor from that weekend, it's sort of it lets that shine go everywhere else.
It does. But you got to remember, my Ronda. I even remember saying that I didn't want Ronda back to fight.
No, but what I'm saying is, so we always knew it was coming, and we always said, the biggest names will be there.
Yes.
But the two biggest names at the UFC aren't there, but I see that as a good thing as well.
You need more than 2 stars. Well, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, Enrique Marin is the name that is going to make those ticket sales go, the pay-per-views. Anyway, that man, he is the man of that card. If it wasn't for him, that card wouldn't even be worth watching. So you got to keep an eye out for that fight. And that guy, that man, he's the future of the UFC. Mike's blown away by him as well. That's why he's coming.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about something I'd read about. I can't even remember the guy's name. I was just trying to remember it. The chap who does the crazy sports betting on the UFC and pretty much gets it right. Of course, he doesn't talk about what he loses. I'm sure he loses money as well. But
of course he do.
He's laid out $1 million. Is it $1 million? Is it? He's betting on Misha Tate
to beat Amanda Nunes. Mike, I would put $1 million on Misha Tate to beat Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I'd be quite confident with that.
It's not confident. I just can't see Amanda beating Misha. I just don't see it happening.
No.
Amanda Nunes will get dragged into deep waters, and she will be gassed by the third, trying to find oxygen, and she will just fall.
2017 is going to be a better year for her.
Amanda Nunes will fall at the wayside by the 3rd or 4th round. She'll probably get submitted, if not TKO'd.
Yeah, I think the cardio is going to play a big factor in this fight.
Look, it's happening in that fight. Is there a fight I'd like to have seen? Yeah, Holly wanted to fight. Holly felt ready for the fight. Yeah, I wouldn't have argued with Holly for having that fight rematch, but is Ronda coming back for her? That's the thing. But look, that's another day, another subject. We could be there for a long time talking about that. We're going to leave you this week, folks. We'll be back next time with some really interesting guests, really, that I've got penciled in. I can't wait to have them on. You're going to really love what they've got to say. It's just going to be, next week's going to be an information-filled week. So thanks for this week, and we'll speak to you soon.